So, good afternoon, friends. Welcome to our day 3 of Marriage and Family Week. And today is very special because we are talking about children are gifts. I am Tricia Sims, the Episcopal Delegate for the Family Life Commission, and we are happy that you are joining us today, this evening. We welcome all our viewers. We have a lovely panel here with us this afternoon, and we're going to have some fun because we're talking about children are gifts. So welcome to all our viewers. Now today's theme, as you know, the general theme is let us keep making this journey together. Let us keep walking together. And today's theme is children are gift, unique and irreplaceable. And as you know, we are in the year of Amoris Laetitia. So that's from Amoris Laetitia, number 170. So we are happy that you're here. So let's jump right in because we know time goes very quickly. So on our panel today, who will be leading us off will be Mrs. Claire Peters, and she's a clinical psychologist. And she's a psychologist attached to the Family Life Commission. She's one of our therapists. She's one of the executives. She and her husband Neil are one of the executive couples for Couples for Christ. And she is also a former catechist. Then we have Lyra Thompson Hollingsworth. She told me to get the full name, the full government name. So Lyra is a mother of 3, and she has 2 children with special needs, and she'll tell us a little bit more about her children. Then we have Nicole Remy, and Nicole is a widow. She was married for 25 years. She's the mother of 1, and she's an early childhood educator. And last, but by no means least, we have Stefan Rollock, and he's a father of 2, and he's also attached to Couples for Christ. So we are very happy that you're joining us today to be a part of this program. And I'm going to hand you over to Claire, who will share with us Children Are a Gift. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I always have to relearn how to do this, so please give me a second. Okay, that was not the second I wanted, and I apologize for that. Okay, so here we are. Welcome. Thank you for that lovely introduction, Tricia, and thank you everyone for being here. So first, we want to welcome you parents, all of you parents who are tuned in today, and a special welcome to the non-biological parents, the aunties and uncles, the grandparents, the teachers and the neighbors. Oh, God bless you. You have answered a call from time immemorial. In fact, Pope Francis says in Amoris Laetitia, let's learn that phrase, Amoris Laetitia. He says, the choice of adoption and foster care expresses a particular kind of fruitfulness. And he calls you channels of love. So welcome to all of you. And I would like to add to His Holiness, you are actually witnesses of blessedness in our society. So thank you for that. So to all of you adults who are watching, including you on the panel, hi to you all. Did you know that you are a gift of God? Whatever the circumstances of your birth and upbringing, you are God's gift come true. Pope Francis says each child has a place in God's heart from all eternity. Once he or she is conceived, the Creator's eternal dream comes true. So even if you were not made to feel welcome in your childhood, it is true of you that you are a gift. In Jeremiah, our Lord says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I consecrated you. Isn't that wonderful? You are a gift. You have purpose. You have power. God has provided for you from your infancy to your present adulthood. Speaking of adulthood, let's talk about that developmental process from childhood to adulthood. In fact, from infancy. And the model that we're going to use is one that you may be familiar with, but let's go through it anyway. It's Erik Erikson's 8 stages of psychosocial development, which posits that during each stage, all people are faced with developmental conflict that impacts later functioning and growth. And at each stage, children and adults face a developmental crisis that serves as a major turning point. Now, this could sound a little complicated, so let me see how we can break this down. Picture an infant. An infant cries because little baby wants something to eat and a little hug up and a little love up. Now, if the loving caregiver, mommy or otherwise, instantly goes to child, what's wrong, baby? Come, come, come. Feeds the child, provides emotional and physical support for that child, then that child learns to trust. If that's not provided and not consistently provided, the child's world is one of mistrust and insecurity. So that if there is a positive response, the child develops basic drive and hope. And that is important for all that will develop afterwards. So let's look at the next stage. The child is a toddler. One basic thing that's happening there is potty training, of course. But the child has a desire for autonomy and will want to get up and walk and move, and you are trying to keep the child safe by constraints and restraints. Or you may be the kind of parent who lets the child run off a little bit, and then baby looks back to see if you're seeing that she's running away, and then you run behind to keep baby safe. But you're giving baby a little freedom because, I mean, let's face it, to you, this is still baby. You are not recognizing this is somebody who wants self-control and willpower, and that's okay. Just as in the first stage, the basic trust versus mistrust was the issue that the child has to overcome. Similarly, now the child will be learning between autonomy and shame and guilt. Because if every time this child steps out, you are going to hold that back and scold and reprimand, that child is learning shame and guilt. And a lot of that happens around potty training. But if you provide a positive environment, your little toddler is developing self-control and willpower. And if you trust God in this child's development, you will let that happen because it's important for the next stage. Your little girl is now going to preschool and you want to die because she's walking off without turning back and screaming at you. Isn't that right, Nicole Remy? Don't you have to deal with the parents more than the children? Yes, on that first day of school. But your little child, having got all that we talked about before, is now developing a sense of direction and purpose, providing that you have allowed that child an environment to develop initiative rather than guilt. So on each stage, you see at the very top and at the very bottom, the conflict that the child has to go through. And close to the feet, you are seeing what is the outcome if a positive environment is presented. Now our little child is in school, book bag and everything. And now they are facing a wider society, children, peers, who could make them feel inferior. In fact, not only children, you as a parent or even the teacher may be inadvertently doing this. But if we provide encouragement and support and a willingness to accept even failure. And I'm saying even because we often think of failure as something negative, but failure is actually an opportunity to get up and go again and try again and achieve again. So your child is going to develop method and competence. And by the time your child is an adolescent, more concerned about peer pressure, it would seem, than anything you are telling them, that child really has a sense of devotion and fidelity you may not realize you have inculcated. That child has developed a sense of identity and is far less prone to negative peer pressure than you would think. But if the other stages were not positive experiences, your child is going to be experiencing role confusion. Who am I? Where am I? Am I a child or an adult? 1 minute you're telling me what to do, next minute you're telling me I should be responsible. And in fact, in this era, I may add, I'm not even sure if I'm male or female, because guess what? Society is telling me one thing, you are telling me another. I'm not sure. But then your child becomes a young adult. We still have issues here. We still have the conflicts between intimacy and isolation. What we are hoping is that by this time, your child is developing a sense of affiliation and love, looking for a partner that meets his or her needs and desires in this developmental stage. Remember, all of these are developmental stages. And Erikson posits that all of us go through them, and that if one particular conflict was not positively resolved, we will carry the negative effect of that throughout our adulthood unless it is addressed, faced and addressed. Then your young adult probably goes on to have children of his or her own, and you are there watching. You are now in middle age, and he or she will get there too. Even then, we still have stages. Generosity, versus stagnation. Am I going to go to that new Zumba class that they said they're having down at YMCA? Or am I going to stay in my safe little place and stagnate and moan because the world is not being nice to me? And then, of course, we have senior citizens. So these last three are the adult stages. And I assume that the people I'm speaking to in this audience are pretty much in those last three stages. So let me ask you, how are you going? You adults here, how are you going? How are you coping in these last three stages? I hope that by now you've recognized that you as an adult have the agency to direct your future development. What you have put in place, either before or even what you're going to put in place now, will direct how you develop into these other stages. Mind you, the child within you is still there. You are still gift of God. But your adulthood is another stage of being gift. I want to share with you another model that might explain this agency you have, this power that you have as an adult to shape your future. It's a windmill because it represents the many aspects of who we are as adults. It's a simplistic one, but we're going to use it anyway. I hope you can read it. This windmill represents facets of ourselves. There's the physical, spiritual, social, intellectual, the values, and the virtues. These are all aspects of who we are, but all of those we can in some way impact upon, and all of them feed into our emotional self. So you're feeling a little blah. Check out your physical. How has your eating been? You're making doubles all through COVID? Okay, not that. You've been eating well. I'm glad to hear that. Nice. You've been exercising or not? What about your personal hygiene and grooming? You're letting the beard grow long and the hair out of order. All right. All these things are affecting your emotional self. What about your intellectual learning? Are you so bored at home and unhappy with your life that you're not learning something? I was speaking to someone today who told me she signed on for a course with agriculture on what was it? Home gardening, but she was hoping to do the one on composting. Are you reading, traveling, problems? Are you experiencing new things? What about your social? Have you been doing as the Archbishop said and calling people to make sure that they know they are not alone and thereby reestablishing your links with them? Are you respecting yourselves and others? What about your spiritual? We've been in lockdown for quite a while. How has your spiritual life been? What are you learning? What are your values and virtues? Are you living up to them? Are you okay with where you are right now? All of you. And if not, what are you doing about it? So I'd like to open to the panel for a minute or two on this question. Auntie Nicole, you want to answer us? How you doing?
I'm fine.
Good.
Full of energy
Lovely.
and thoroughly enjoying this session so far.
Thank you, Auntie Nicole.
I must say that when I looked at the different segments in the physical, I have improved on my eating. I am very much excited every time I do breakfast. I send pictures to my family and they say picture perfect breakfast, you know. So I am improving on my eating, my exercise fluctuates. I start up and slow down and, you know, involved in recreational activities. Yes, because I am really now into gardening. So I'm really happy about that. My emotional self, I feel comfortable right now, and I think that I'm managing. I don't know if to say stress because I tend not to get myself stressed, you know. My social, yes, the ability to get along with others, yes, and I've been passing and checking the senior citizens in my mom's neighborhood. So I want to know if I stop by on mornings when I'm going to her and, you know, share a little fruit with one and drop off a little something I cook for another one. Yeah. The intellectual, yes, I am. I was in a course this morning actually on gardening, you know, so I'm getting there. So I am really, really enjoying life, as they say. I am enjoying the best life now.
Right, that's lovely to hear. But I just want to point out why we talk about being comfortable with our emotional self. And this is not just for you, Nicole, it's for everybody. It's okay to be uncomfortable. Huh? It's a little prompt that we need to change something in order to grow, that we need to challenge ourselves a little more. So I see Lyra smiling. So I'm going to Lyra. What is the area that you know you need to work on?
Actually, I think a little bit of all of it. There's always something more that we can do, but I'm smiling because in looking at the windmill, I am realizing that I'm a little better than I thought I was. so that's good news because I feel a sense of being balanced in all of the areas, particularly with learning new things, because through the eyes of children, you learn new things or you get to re-experience the world. And that in particular brings me a lot of joy. So I think that is what was making me smile.
Lovely, lovely. Stefan, I'm going to ease you up on this one. I see you're having some video issues there, but that's okay. We will be going on. So hopefully we can each identify some area where we can still have the power to improve whatever are our circumstances, because we're adults, thank God. For many of us though, when we were children, we didn't have that much power. We didn't have that much agency. Maybe we weren't all treated as the gift that we are. Maybe the caregivers around us didn't understand that children are not a burden and that children are not a right. Now, these two extremes in our society are present. Very often, we come across in our society the sense that children are a burden. How many children you have? 4? Oh, good Lord. And worse yet, if you were to say 7, and they pull in a deep breath as if you have, taken just too much out of the world by having this many children. But our church holds quite the opposite view. It says in Amoris Laetitia again, your child, and by child I mean your child, your ward, your niece, your neighbor, your grandchild, whoever it is that has come into your life and into your care is a gift. Each one of these children is unique and irreplaceable. His Holiness says, I feel it urgent to state that if the family is the sanctuary of life, the place where life is conceived and cared for, it is a horrendous contradiction when it becomes a place where life is rejected and destroyed. So great is the value of human life and so inalienable the right to life of an innocent child growing in the mother's womb that no alleged right to one's own body can justify a decision to terminate that life. I want to pause here because I suspect that in our audience, there are people who made the decision to terminate that life, and I'm not here to condemn you. Maybe you didn't know, and we understand that, or maybe you thought you did not have the resources and the support to help you through that decision-making process. But the truth is, we are here for you. Your church, your people are here for you. And if you think, even if right now you found out you're pregnant and you're thinking, no, I can't do this, call out for help. We are here for you. We will not leave you alone with this child, because this child, all children are a gift, not just to the parent, but to the community, to the society. A child also is not a piece of property. A child is not an idea to which an alleged right belongs. We have in our society right now a declining fertility rate, and thus we have many people who are trying desperately to have a child and are sometimes using some methods that are not approved by our church. Hence, the two statements before, simple as they are. Children are not a burden, and children are not a right. Children are a gift, each one unique and irreplaceable. And to all of you adults in the panel and out of the panel, that means you too. You too are a gift. I want to go to our next slide. Oh, sorry, I'd forgotten this. So children are a gift, and His Holiness says it matters little whether this new life is convenient for you, whether it has features that please you or whether it fits into your plans and aspirations, because the children are a gift. I remember talking to a client recently who shared that she believed her sense of insecurity came from her childhood, where she was of the wrong complexion, she was of the wrong hair type, she was of the wrong gender. Regardless of whether you think the features please you or not, the child is a gift. So,
Claire, I'm happy you shared that slide there, because I know in introducing Lyra, she said that she's a mother and she has 2 children with special needs. So maybe at this time we can hear from Lyra just sharing with us a little bit. So it matters little whether this new life is convenient for you, whether it has features that please you, whether it fits into your plans and aspirations. So maybe Lyra, this time you can share with us your own experience of this.
Yes, I can. 2 out of my 3 children are autistic, and that makes life very interesting. Of course, I love them with all of my heart. and they bring me joy. But what it does, because of their uniqueness, it allows me to experience motherhood in a very unique way. And also, it has caused me to reach the point where I accept that, yes, they are gifts and they are not possessions. They are, in fact, God's children who have been entrusted to me. Somehow, God found it fit to trust me with raising them. And I'm the one he chose for whatever reason. I'm still trying to figure that reason out. But he chose me, and I'm doing my best. And the thing is, as difficult as it can be sometimes, in when they are in all of their elements and their moments, I can also find joy. And it is a joy that comes from God, and that is, in fact, his gift, causing us to re-experience the world through their eyes and through their very unique eyes. So all of this is really resonating with me right now, and I can identify everything that we're talking about here in my life, mothering my children.
Thank you, Lyra. That was...
I would love to get a little example, a little experience. I think
I don't know. I'm thinking, well, actually, with my son, he's nonverbal. It doesn't mean that he doesn't have vocabulary, but it means that he chooses to speak when he wants to or when he finds it absolutely necessary. And for some, I think in being his mother, it is a constant reminder of the mystery of the relationship we have with God. Because we have our relationship with God, we are God's children, we communicate with him, and we may not necessarily hear him speak like we're hearing each other speak now, but we experience God's love. With my son, I'm speaking to him, and I know he's understanding what I'm saying. He may not always respond with words, but the way we communicate, the love is communicated between us both. It is a deeply mysterious thing, and I can't explain it in words other than saying that is what it is. And it reminds me very often of how we are with God. And another example would be, I think it's a humbling experience as well, being a mother in general, because it reminds us of our relationship with him. You know how many times as a parent you may tell a child something and you're giving the instruction over and over, and they will constantly not follow your instruction. And then when you're almost tempted to become really angry, you kind of take a step back and say, but wait a minute, don't we do this with God? He has given us his word. We know what he expects of us, and sometimes we fall off. And it gives you an opportunity to be a little more patient in your parenting, because God has allowed us to share in the creation of his children. So we just have to roll with it and continually experience what it is to be, I guess, what he is to us, what we have to be to our children.
Thank you very much, Lyra. Now, I know Stefan was here. Stefan, would you like to share at this point as a father on the panel? Okay.
I get. Just a second. Yes. Everybody can hear me? Can I have one?
Yes, we can hear you.
Right.
Okay, so there's an echo on your end.
Yes, there was an echo. I hope it doesn't echo now.
You're good now. You can go ahead. Yes, as a father.
So, well, for me, for my kids, it has been a lot of adjusting because you're accustomed to a busy life, going to work, getting kids ready, getting them to school, and now that we have the time that is available, the time that because of the current pandemic, it has allowed us to actually slow down and look at each and every child. It's really, I really appreciate that time. In the beginning, it wasn't I was like most parents adjusting, and because usually your child is at one area and you have one area, so you can focus, and then you meet back at the end of the day, and then they give you the whole rundown of how they went. But now you're in the day with them, so adjusting. But myself and my wife, we really did appreciate after a while the time that we got to see each child individually for how they develop, you know, and the little traits that they have, you know. So
Okay, thank you very much, Stefan. So Claire, I'm sure that you have, you can continue now.
Sure, thank you. Thank you for that sharing. Actually, those points take me into my next moment of sharing, which is that it's important for a child to feel wanted. He or she is not an accessory or a solution, but a human being of immense worth. And so I was going to ask, how easy is it for you to discover the worth of your children? But I think you both answered that question. Lyra, you have had to in order to basically communicate. And Stefan, COVID has pushed you into a place where you are recognizing the uniqueness of this child. I think amidst the noise, I heard you mentioning that you've discovered the artistry in one child. And Stefan, I think you also mentioned the humor in our in our prior conversation. You mentioned that you discovered the humor of your son. So thank you very much for your sharing. Most parents want the best for their children, and there are several theories about how to develop the best possible child. I want to touch on three of them. The first is the social learning theory. In simple terms, we may think of children monkey see, monkey do, but that is not the truth. These are unique gifts from God, remember? So Bandura holds that people do learn through observation, but that the mental state the child is in is important to whether or not that child will choose to imitate the behavior. So if you think of a mental state where there isn't attention or where there isn't the ability to remember, you're not going, or even motivation to replicate that behavior, then you're not going to have it happening. Now, this works pretty well for us in most cases. Generally, we are taken aback when we see our children doing what we were doing, and we say, oh my gosh, he's imitating me. But we have to be careful with it because we are not the only influences in our child's life. So it's very important to bear that in mind when we're thinking of what media, for example, what TV shows we're going to be introducing into our homes, because your children could very well be imitating that as well. Another theory of interest is the attachment styles. Now, in this theory, Bowlby and others suggested a strong emotional and physical bond to the primary caregiver in the first years of life is critical to development. And there's lasting psychological connectedness with human beings. So according to this theory, if a parent is aligned with the child and in tune with the child's emotions, we will have an adult formed who is able to create meaningful relationships, is empathetic, able to appreciate, and so on. And that's what we call a secure attachment. The other three all result in varying degrees of anxiety. So there's the avoidant, because the parent had been unavailable or rejecting. Think of a parent who says, that is not my child. I don't know where that child come from. I have nothing to do with that child. The child is not able to develop emotional bonds and is therefore going to grow into an adult who is distant and critical. The ambivalent style of parenting, where the parent is available only sometimes, and that inconsistency makes the child's world unsafe. So you're going to develop an adult who is erratic, unpredictable, insecure. And then we have the disorganized, because the parent is completely ignoring the child's needs. And that child will grow into an adult who is insensitive, explosive, and untrusting, even though they are craving attention and affection. I want to move on to another area, which is the parenting styles theory. And I think a lot of parents struggle with this one. There are 4 official parenting styles mentioned here. The authoritative and parenting style, by the way, refers to the typical ways that the parents think, feel, and behave in terms of their child rearing. By the way, I haven't heard any of the negatives in what I've been hearing from you guys sharing so far. So let's just go down the list. The authoritative parenting style is firm but loving, and it will create somebody who has independence but within limits. So it produces what we would call the ideal. The permissive parent is loving and affectionate but has no rules, and may grow up without boundaries and cannot control emotions, is a bad loser, and is at times inconsiderate. The authoritarian parent, which is different from authoritative, demands obedience, strict rules, will tolerate no emotional outbursts, and therefore the child learns to suppress emotions, cannot trust their own feelings, and therefore finds it very difficult to concentrate. Will always be a middle child, will always be, middle of the pack in terms of achievement. And the uninvolved parent, who has no involvement whatsoever, well, low self-esteem, little confidence, hates self and others. I want to point out here that even though I'm going through these styles and the effects long-term, it's wise for us not to look at ourselves and say, oh gosh, my mother calls me to be the way I am. Quite the contrary. There are a number of healthy relationships we can get involved in, which bring healing to our fractured childhood memories. So,
Claire, I'm glad that you share that. I'm glad that you share those parenting styles, the secure attachment versus the avoidant, ambivalent, and disorganized. Because I think during this time of COVID, where the children are constantly with us, it can be, you can feel as if, you're overwhelmed. Maybe we can hear from the parents who are with us in terms of developing a secure attachment with your child or your own parenting style. Are you able to identify anything that you have seen there? And if you can just give us an example, so maybe Lyra, we can hear from you.
Yes, during this pandemic time, it has been particularly interesting because as our dad was sharing that, usually you send them off to school, you go off to work, and then you regroup at the end of the day. During the last year and a half, the children have been with us and they've been all over us. And it can be a little bit overwhelming. So ordinarily, I would say the authoritative style is what would be, as Claire was saying, is the ideal. But there are times when it's so overwhelming, you just have to just let them be and be a little permissive, because you're going to almost lose your mind. You have to kind of, okay, you know what? You'll just have cereal for dinner. I just can't do anything else right now. You all want to watch TV? Fine, just go ahead. I just need to take a little time to regroup. And then we could probably return to a little semblance of order the next day. But this time that we're in has certainly made it very interesting. And that, at least that has been my experience with the styles. I don't know what anyone else will share.
Okay, thank you very much, Lyra. Maybe Stefan, are you there with us? Maybe you can share in terms of during this pandemic. I know you did some wonderful things with your children. Maybe you can share with us how the styles, where do you see yourself moving in and out of, and in terms of developing a secure attachment with your children?
Yeah, sure. Well, for what actually started working for us is we started to develop a type of structure and a routine for the kids and ourselves. So as much as the common routine that they knew before the pandemic, where we used to get up and we had to travel a bit of a distance to reach to the school. So we were stuck in traffic, and that's when we would have our little family time, prayer time, etc. So we had to change that based on the pandemic. So we had to change the routine. And what we did realize is once we started having the structure, the children adapted to it, not unknowingly to them. So it benefited us. So we had a structure where we had the school routine, the time, and they were all excited in the beginning, getting on time to class, logging on to class, and you know, those type of things. They had that was their responsibility. Like in the morning before COVID was getting ready for school. So this was getting ready for school in new era. And after that, we had after school, we usually had to travel a far distance to come home. This is before the pandemic. So now we are home. So we included exercising and family time. And so those things became a routine. So they look forward to it. So by the time they started in the morning and at the end of the night, they blink, they realized they have to start over. So it started working for us a lot, right? And prayer time was also, I guess, a blessing for us because we didn't have much prayer time before the pandemic. Because of the pandemic, prayer became a routine in our daily operations. So we'll say it in the night. We have a whole routine, how to go to bed, and so it really kind of helped. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Stefan. Now, Nicole, I know you are early child educator. So you have the little ones, you know, so would you like to share your experience with us? Nicole, is Nicole there?
Yes, I am here. Yes. I can share on my personal experience having my daughter and also having two godsons that I took from the age of 3 and 4 years old. Having them before pandemic was a joy because during the vacation time, you know, we would do lots of outdoor activities. My husband and the children, we would go out. During the vacation time, we would look at some schoolwork in the morning, and after lunch, it was just bare fun going out and having fun. Now that they're all grown and they have come to a place now that because of their early experiences, they are more responsible and they have taken different directions. You know, my daughter just graduated from university, so she has a degree in entrepreneurship, and one of the godsons is now a daddy, so he's now going to try and follow the role of my husband and I, and the other one is pursuing biochem at university. So during their stages in life, they have been able to develop security, be able to make wise decisions, you know, be able to see how to share and love people outside of family. And so, by God's grace, they are now good citizens. So I must say I enjoyed my experience.
Thank you very much for sharing, Nicole. Now, I know this is a very difficult time, you know, during this pandemic for parents to really see their children as gifts. And maybe, Claire, you can, as you continue, maybe you can, you know, share with us some practical things that parents can do during this time. It's holiday time, and someone put on the chat, what about parents who have to leave their children at home during this pandemic instead of going to school? Maybe Claire, you can help us with that as you continue. Thank you.
Thank you. As I continue, I want to come down to this item called play. It is very important that we spend time with our children. And all the parents I've just heard speaking talked about that. Now, the play I am talking about here is the one recommended by the American Academy of Pediatrics. It's intrinsically motivated, entails active engagement, joyful discovery. It's voluntary. There are no extrinsic goals. It's fun and it's spontaneous. I want to bring up this no extrinsic goals because that means that it's not just a utilitarian purpose. Okay, we have to play to complete this project for school, or we have to play so that I see you can kick the ball harder than you did last time, and you know you are my son, so you better hard and do it. Rather, it is non-judgmental. So whatever is the time that you get to spend with your child, use it to build the self-esteem, the warmth, the bonding with your child. And play is a critical part of that. Sometimes when we especially have to leave the children at home and go to work, when we do see them, it's just business, as Stefan was sharing. Now, let's change that, whether because we are at home in lockdown or because we're going to change the way we schedule our time, even on weekends. Or maybe we can leave activities for our children to engage in. I have this statement here from the Academy of Pediatricians, from peekaboo, patty cake, hide it and seek to hopscotch. The many forms of play enrich a child's and parents' life in important ways. Do you agree with this statement? Lyra is smiling because I know we've talked about this before, Lyra.
Yes,
Come,
yes.
girl, share with me.
Coincidentally, when you have children with special needs and you have to make various therapeutic interventions for them, be it a speech therapist or occupational therapist, very early in the game, they tell you children learn through play. And a big part of their therapy is playing. And that's how they have been able to make strides in terms of their motor skills and their vocabulary and their speech skills and everything else. And it's amazing that you just have to, if you know the sink is full of dishes, forget the sink. You have to get them on the ground with them and play and roll and learn how to throw a ball and catch. And yes, it's serving a purpose. It is utilitarian in a sense, but you get the giggles out of it, and the giggles are for giggles' sake, you know. And it has been an amazing journey, but I had to relearn how to just set aside everything that is adult in this world and remember how fun it is to play and engage, because it is for their well-being and to some extent mine too.
Okay, because I was going to ask if the giggles are only your child's. I'm seeing your face lighting up as you're talking about it.
Yes.
So Nicole, today I saw as you were doing the games with children, I think the parents and the adult team were experiencing maybe even more joy than the children. Was I right about that? Or?
Yes, you are. You are right about that. And I love what you say about play being an important part of a child's life, and that's how they learn, through play. And I wish parents would really trust that play is actually the most important part of a child's life, especially in preschool, because that's the world where we play. So children come to preschool to play. And parents ask the child, so what work did you do today? And the child doesn't understand that language, because we said to them, I came here to play with you. And yes, we play, and through play, different concepts are taught, and the children remember it because they have been engaged in the activities where they can actually recognize letters, numbers, words, and you expose them to a varying activities in the program, so they have dress up play. Today we had a lovely activity where the children had to dress themselves in their parents' clothes, and I mean, it was so much fun. One parent said to me the child had the jersey on wrong, so when they had to take the picture, they had to fix the jersey. I wish she left the jersey how the child put it on. And they were in parents' big shoes, stepping. I had to say to one, you're doing better than me. She could step in her heels better than me. So play has a lot of learning.
And Sarah, if I could ask you, how has playing with your children, because you said that since COVID, you are forced to spend more time with them, and therefore you are able to spend more time playing. How has playing with your children affected your relationship with them?
Well, actually, what came out of it is I realized the different treats that my children have. Like my daughter, she has a very huge sense of imagination. It was amazing to see. It's something that we always knew that she used to like to draw and artsy, but it's another level when you're actually playing with her. And what I like about it is the control, how she would control the game and also be like, Daddy, you understand? And like, I just let it loose because I believe that, one, I loved to see that part of her. And two, it was just, like to me, I didn't know that this was happening right in front of me. And so when she does it and she has this game, she makes up all kinds of games and we just go with it. And the laughing, like Lyra mentioned, is contagious. And the silliness really brings me back as a child, So it really, as much as before pandemic, I don't know if I did it, but probably all parents are, they sometimes do this, you're not busy, or you tell them, oh, just now, you kind of put a pause. But being in the time that I don't have to do that, when I say playtime, it allows all of these things to happen and my eyes are open and accepting it, So we play this game with a doodle board where she guesses. It's something like what adults know to be like Pictionary. So you draw something and you have to guess living, non-living thing. We have a countdown, but what brings out of it is how much of her artistic side. She really could draw, boy, oh gosh. And her imagination, which when my time comes around for my turn, I have to do better, and I have to, come real good because she's out of the box in thinking,
Yeah. Lyra, in our conversation earlier, you mentioned something about re-experiencing the world through their eyes. Tell me about that.
Well, I guess being born a girl, I would have been exposed to girly things. But now I have a daughter and two boys, and I don't have an artistic bone in my body, but my daughter draws and colors and does everything. And I get to see that side of us. So when we have a school project and we both involved in it, I get to be involved again, and have to research things again and see new things, although it's not so new, With my boys, the last one, he's into dinosaurs and Godzilla. I never knew the names of the different types of dinosaurs. So now I have to learn the names of the different types of dinosaurs for him to talk to me about this one and that one and so on, and to remember videos that he would have seen. And I have to really, so it's getting to a point where, things that you have never discovered before, you're getting a chance to discover it anew, So I mean, it's hard being, and I'm a single mom, so it's hard doing it. But on one side it's hard, but on the other side it's beautiful getting a chance to just, do this whole mothering thing.
And since I have you on stage, Lyra, Trisha had asked earlier, how do you do all this play that you all are talking about? They're so wonderfully there on TV. How do you do it when you have to go to work and leave the children at home, Lyra?
Well, we have a village, my mom is there with them when I'm at work. I'm at the office now because there's no way we could have done this at home with them running and screaming, So my mother's part of the support system and I balance it out, there's time for work and there's time for play. And once I get home, Mommy's home, and I have to forget whatever I left at work. It has to stay at work, and just fully engage. I have to debrief for a little bit, but get in it and relax with them and hear how the day went. And sometimes it means cutting a workday short. Sometimes it means working from home so you could answer the emails and the phone calls from at home, but still getting a chance to, put the pool outside. The other day I had to put a pool outside, fill it with water and get in the pool with them. Usually I would have put them in it and give me a chance to mop it in the house or something. But this time I went into the pool with them and I think I needed the pool more than they did. So yeah, you just have to you have to create these spaces and set aside the time to do it, and it's about balance.
So I'm hearing from all of you all that you are enjoying the giftedness of your children. Can I ask, if a parent is struggling with this idea of play, especially how can I play when I'm the disciplinarian? How do I shift? How do I shift roles? What would you suggest, Stefan?
Well, good question. I think once you let go literally, just let go and embrace what the child is saying. Sit down and listen to exactly what it is you want to do, whatever game it is or what it is, because children tend to explain what they want to do in this game because they want you to follow the rules. That little part, you will actually start seeing something, you will see something happening, and just let it go. So just listen, sit down, listen, and it will touch your little child, or the little bit of child in you. It will come out, it will come out, and you will be engaged.
Thank you.
It will start to become a pattern for you. Yeah, sorry.
Yes. Thank you. I really appreciate the sharing and so on, but time is upon us. We only have 2 more minutes for us to wrap up today's session, Children Are Play. So
Children are a gift.
Children are a gift. We had children learn best at play that session earlier today. So we really want to thank all of you, Claire, for sharing with us. And I'm happy that we're ending on this slide, play. Because as you can see there, the benefits of play outweigh so many things, and we can get so much more engagement when we play. Today, when we had that session on Children Learn Best at Play with those little ones and the popcorn, it was really, really the popcorn way, using a towel and paper. It was really a creative way that Nicole showed us there. So to the entire panel, I'm going to give you 30 seconds each, just to give some closing remarks to some parents who just don't have the time to play. What is one thing they can do? I'll give you 30 seconds each to just tell us that. Thank you.
So I'll start. Whatever is the time you have with your child, make it quality time. Let it not be limited only to chores and so on. Let it be a bonding time that you spend, even if it's only a little. Lyra.
I would say, as Claire was saying, whatever little time you have, even if it means a pillow fight or tickling, or if the child is older, not into pillow fights or tickling, just a time to engage how you're going, a hug from behind, a hug from in front, just let that child know that you are there and that they are challenged.
Thank you very much, Lyra. Stefan?
Well, what I would say is the same thing, echoing everybody, but listening to your child and allowing them to speak and giving them that voice allows you to realize, wait, this is your child. You'll see so much things from your child, and the play will just happen, and you will just go on that journey with your child, once you start to play.
Thank you very much, Stefan. Nicole, you have 20 seconds.
We're not hearing you, Nicole. Unmute.
Play, the best part of life. Parents, just relax and enjoy. Board games, video games, outdoor games, you name it. There are lots, a variety of them. Just engage and have fun.
Thank you very much, Claire, Nicole, Lyra, Stefan, all of viewers for looking at us. Day 3, Marriage and Family Week. We are happy that you joined us. If you want to find out more about the programs, the parenting programs that we offer, you can go to aflcrc.org. We offer Common Sense Parenting and Children Are a Gift. All the resources for this week are available on our website, aflcrc.org. We thank you very much for viewing. We would love to have your feedback. We're going to put up the feedback form as soon as this program is over, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Thursday, where we talk about sex education. We know parents want to know about sex education and how we can engage in that conversation. So we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Remember the prayer activity for today, was about or is about bonding. Bless your children today. We love you. Thank you for viewing, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a lovely evening. God bless you.